The recruiter sounds friendly, then asks, "What salary are you looking for?" If you answer too fast, you may shrink the offer before the company even wants you. This video is about what to say when they ask for your salary expectations. The goal is not to dodge forever. The goal is to avoid naming a weak number before you understand the job, the level, and the budget. Salary questions feel uncomfortable because they look simple. One number, one answer. But behind that one question are budget limits, title levels, competing candidates, benefits, bonuses, remote rules, and your own fear of asking too much. When a recruiter asks early, they are usually checking fit. They want to know if your expectations are close enough to continue. They may not be trying to trap you, but your answer can still anchor the conversation. An anchor is the first serious number in the conversation. If you say 70,000 and their budget goes to 90, the company may not volunteer 90. They now know you might accept much less. There is also the opposite risk. If you say 120,000 before learning the role is scoped at 85, the recruiter may assume there is no fit and move on before you can explain flexibility. A weak answer sounds like this: "I do not know, whatever you think is fair." It seems flexible, but it gives away your leverage and can make you look unprepared for an important business conversation. Another weak answer is naming your lowest acceptable number as your expectation. If you need 80,000 to make the move, do not present 80 as the exciting outcome. That leaves no room for negotiation. A stronger answer has three parts. First, show interest in the role. Second, ask for the range or confirm the budget. Third, give a researched range only if they need a number from you. Here is a calm default line. "I am open depending on the full scope of the role. Could you share the budgeted range for this position so we can make sure we are aligned?" That answer does not sound evasive. It sounds practical. You are not refusing to discuss pay. You are asking for the company's range before you price a job you do not fully understand yet. Sometimes they will push back and say, "We need to know your expectations first." Do not panic. This is where you move from asking for information to giving a protected range. A protected range sounds like this. "Based on what I know so far, I'm targeting something in the range of 95 to 110, depending on responsibilities, benefits, bonus, and growth path." The range should not be random. The bottom should still be acceptable if the rest of the package is strong. The top should be defensible based on the market, your skills, and the value of the role. Do not give a range so wide it becomes useless. Saying 60 to 120,000 tells the recruiter you have not calibrated the role. A tight, researched range sounds much stronger. If this kind of practical job search wording is useful, consider subscribing. The goal here is simple: better answers, better documents, and fewer moments where a qualified candidate gets filtered out too early. Now let's walk through the three places this question shows up. First is the recruiter screen. This is often early, short, and focused on whether the conversation should continue. Weak version. "I am making 70 now, so I guess I would need at least 75. This answer ties your future pay to your past pay and gives the recruiter a low anchor. Stronger version. "I am focused on the right match, but I also want to be respectful of everyone's time. Could you share the budgeted range for this role?" If the recruiter shares a range, do not immediately pick the bottom. You can say, "That range is generally in the area I am considering. I would want to learn more about the scope before narrowing it." If the range is lower than expected, stay calm. Try, "That is below where I have been focusing. Is there flexibility for candidates with experience in process improvement, client management, and team leadership?" If the gap is too large, protect your time. You can say, "I appreciate the transparency. Based on that range, this may not be the right fit for me right now, but I would be open to future roles closer to my target." The second place is the application form. This is harder because a form may ask for expected salary before anyone has spoken to you. There is no tone, no context, and sometimes no room to explain. If the form allows text, use words that keep the conversation open. Try "negotiable based on role scope and total compensation," or "open to discussing once the role level and budget are confirmed." If the form forces a number, do not enter your lowest survival number. Use a research target that you could defend in conversation. If the posting includes a range, align with the role level you actually match. A common mistake is trying to be the cheapest qualified candidate. That can backfire. Cheap does not always signal value. It can signal uncertainty, underleveling, or a candidate who does not understand the market. Hiring teams usually do not want the cheapest person if that person may leave quickly, struggle in the role, or require more support. They want a compensation match that makes the hire realistic and stable. The third place is later in the interview process. At this stage, your answer can become more specific because you know more. You have heard the problems, the responsibilities, and the level of urgency. A later stage answer can sound like this. After learning more about the role, I believe a range of 105 to 115 fits the scope, especially given the ownership of reporting, stakeholder communication, and launch deadlines. Notice the difference. You are not saying, I want more because I want more. You are connecting the number to the job. More ownership, more complexity, more business impact, and more risk can justify higher compensation. At the final offer stage, do not keep speaking in vague terms. If they offer 98 and your target is 108, you need a clear, respectful ask. Try this. I am excited about the role and the team. Based on the scope we discussed and my experience leading similar work, would you be able to bring the base salary to 108? After you ask, stop talking. Do not immediately soften your request with, but I understand if not. Silence feels uncomfortable, but it gives the other person space to respond instead of negotiating against yourself. If they cannot move base salary, ask about the rest of the package. You can ask about signing bonus, review timing, additional paid time off, remote flexibility, title, relocation support, or professional development budget. Base salary is important, but it is not the only number. Two offers with the same base can feel very different if one includes a bonus, better health costs, stronger retirement match, or more flexibility. The biggest mistake is negotiating with no data. If you only know what you hope to earn, every answer feels personal. If you know the market, the role level, and your walkaway number, you sound steadier. Before the call, collect salary ranges from similar job postings. Look for the same title, location, industry, and level. A senior analyst at a bank may not price the same as a senior analyst at a nonprofit. Second, use compensation sites carefully. They can be useful, but treat them as estimates, not truth. Job title, company size, location, remote policy, and bonus structure can change the real number. Third, talk to people when you can. Ask former coworkers, mentors, or trusted peers. For a role like this, what range would you expect for someone with my background? Fourth, define your personal numbers. Know your walkaway number, your acceptable range, your target, and your ideal outcome. Do this before the call so fear does not choose for you in real time. Your walkaway number is not what sounds impressive online. It is the minimum that makes the move make sense for your life. It should include bills, commute, childcare, health costs, taxes, and the risk of changing jobs. Your target is different. It is the number you would feel good accepting if the job is right. Your answer in a negotiation should usually protect that target instead of revealing only the minimum you would tolerate. Career changers often underprice themselves because they feel new. Instead of saying, I know I am coming from another field, say, my target reflects the project management, client communication, and reporting experience I am bringing into this role. If you have a career gap, do not discount yourself automatically. You can say, my expectations are based on the responsibilities of this role and my relevant experience, not just the timing of my most recent position. For remote roles, clarify how the company sets pay. You can ask, is this range based on the employee's location, the company headquarters, or a national band? That question prevents confusion before you compare numbers. One small language fix matters. Do not apologize for having expectations. Avoid, sorry, I know this may be high. Use, based on my research and the scope we discussed, this is the range I am targeting. You also do not need to explain your rent, debt, or personal emergency. Employers usually pay for the role and the value they believe you bring, not the private reason you need the money. Here is the simple formula. Early in the process, ask for the budgeted range. If they need your number, give a researched range. Later in the process, tie your ask to the scope of the role and the evidence you bring. Practice this before your next call. I am open, depending on the full scope. Could you share the budgeted range? Then practice your backup. Based on what I know, I am targeting this range, depending on total compensation. If you have a salary question from a real application, recruiter call, or offer, put it in the comments. Share the wording if you can remove private details, and suggest the next job search question you want broken down.